In 2018, I believe it was, there was announced a remake, words we all love to hear, a word we love to hear, remake of the 1974 Charles Bronson, Michael Winner classic Death Wish, to be starring Bruce Willis and directed by Eli Roth, known for Cabin Fever and mostly hostile horror type stuff. Met with not a lot of excitement because Death Wish is a great movie a lot of people love, and why should it be remade? It actually kind of was remade as a movie called Death Sentence, based on the original novel that Death Wish was based on with Kevin Bacon. And there have been innumerable revenge movies. You know, somebody is wronged and they seek out revenge on the streets movies. So it wasn't like it was the first time we were seeing another kind of a Death Wish, but to go ahead and call it Death Wish, even though you're starring Bruce Willis in the film, who's an icon of 80s action, it left a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouth. So the film was about to be released, I believe it was 2018, and suddenly there was a mass shooting somewhere. And it seemed like a poor time to release a movie that's getting the audience to cheer for a guy who's going out and killing people. So the film got delayed and eventually came out, didn't really do anything, went to video. At the time I said, you know, if you're going to delay the release of a movie every time there's a mass shooting, you're never going to release that movie, but that's a different story. So I finally caught up with Death Wish. I was not too thrilled with the idea of a Death Wish remake, obviously, because the original is so good. The original, which spawned many, many sequels and many, many knockoffs. And I finally caught up with the 2018 Eli Roth, Bruce Willis Death Wish via Amazon Prime just the other day. And I went into it, you know, hoping that it was good. I like revenge movies. I like vigilante films. And wondering if it was the sort of bloodthirsty, rah-rah, shoot-'em-up that the trailers made it look like. The trailers were, they almost played like a comedy, using Back in Black and cutting this film to be very quick and very quippy, and wondering if this is a lighthearted Death Wish or what this is. So I took the film on its own terms. I said, you know, it's a remake. It's going to be whatever it is, but at its core, it's a revenge movie. And as I was watching the film, I was wondering, maybe they're going to do something a little different. Maybe they're going to take an anti-violence approach to this. Maybe they're going to show this as Bruce Willis is not doing the right thing, or as, you know, some kind of a social comment. Not really, not really. They didn't really go that way with it. This is pretty much a bloodthirsty revenge movie, which is, you know, if you're watching a movie called Death Wish, is pretty much what you want. Bruce Willis has really fallen off the radar. I don't think he's a draw anymore. He's a name everybody knows, but what was the last good Bruce Willis movie you can think of? I can't think of what it was. It wasn't Death Wish. So Bruce Willis has been doing a lot of straight-to-video stuff, and when he is in things, he does sort of feel like he's just kind of walking through it and doing the bare minimum to pick up a check, or maybe a nice vacation in Spain, like he was in a film I don't recall the title of that he did with Henry Cavill a few years ago. They both got to go to Spain. So this Death Wish has Bruce Willis as a surgeon whose wife, played by Elizabeth Shue, and daughter are brutally assaulted, and he enacts revenge to find the guys who did this and take care of them. Vincent D'Onofrio plays his brother in the film. There's a couple of familiar faces in the film, but not much. You don't really need it in a movie like this. Sometimes that can be distracting. The bad guys are sleazy and grubby and everything you want in somebody who you want to see killed on screen. There's a number of them, which is something I always say I want in a revenge movie. I'm like, if somebody has to get revenge on somebody, why not let it be just like a bus full of people that they have to work their way through, rather than just one. You don't get the satisfaction of the repeated, you know, vindictive murders if it's just a couple people. So in this movie, you have a handful of people, and they're sleazy and skeevy, and they fit the bill. It's not the same pattern as the original Death Wish. In a very broad strokes, it is, but, you know, different job, same last name, same first name. It's similar enough that you can call it Death Wish, but at the same time, I kept thinking, boy, if you had just changed the names and called this something else, yes, it would be a Death Wish ripoff, but at least you wouldn't be trying to compare it to that original film, which is it's going to fail. I think it really couldn't win either way. It was not going to be better than Death Wish. People were going to have a grudge against that, and if you called it something else, they would have a grudge that you just didn't bother to call it Death Wish. So, at any rate, Bruce Willis, yeah, he's very, very low-key in this film. Seems pretty disinterested in being in the movie. There are some interesting turns as far as the revenge goes, and this might be the Eli Roth thing coming in, where he uses his knowledge as a surgeon to enact gory and bloody revenge on some of these guys at times, not just with a pistol arrow. and sometimes he uses that surgical know-how to fix himself up when he gets in a scrape. So it is the whole vigilante doing this in secret, trying to stay one step ahead of the law while there is this public, popular movement behind him where he's becoming this, I don't remember what they call him in the movie, but it's sort of like the ghost or something like that, and the public is behind him cleaning up the streets. So yeah, it's not an anti-violent movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's not better than the original. It's really, to me, was no better or worse than most of the revenge movies that have come out in the wake of Death Wish. The original Death Wish is great. I would highly recommend that to anybody. It almost plays to me like a horror movie. A lot of the beats it hits and a lot of the emotions that it evokes are very unsettling and creepy, where you see this architect become just sort of a cold-blooded murderer after a while and questioning whether he's doing the right thing or not. This movie is a little bit more aiming toward the thrills and the fun. It's going to be forgotten like all remakes are, 99% of remakes. I kind of forgot it existed from 2 years ago until I came across it on Amazon Prime. But if you're looking for an action movie, if you're looking for a revenge movie and you haven't seen it, it is certainly 90-something minutes long. I'll say that. So Death Wish starring Bruce Willis, available now. If you really have worked your way through all the Bronson films twice and you want to see Bruce Willis shooting people instead.